tried to RuneScape Classic, it was good to me. Finished every quest it had, easy as 1, 2, 3. 22 full years of questing to make some deaths forevermore. RuneScape 3 Hardcore Ultimate Ironman, questing through 2004. Welcome back to March 29th, 2004. I'm doing woodcutting while I still have my rune hatchet. And there is 76 woodcutting. That's a quest requirement for blisterwood trees. Neat. It's going to be a lot of woodcutting. That is definitely my AFK go-to right now. And it's important that we get it up higher. Would have been fine already, but magic trees are now level 80, because why not? So that, we need to get to that at least. And probably significantly higher than that. Also to help the fletching level here, because I also have goals on that front. And with the current strategies here, we're getting a lot more woodcutting than fletching XP. But that fletching XP is also going to ramp up here in a bit. Just a little. And also, making a bunch of money, which is also going to be quite helpful. We are free to continue on to the next updates here. But I'm going to do this for a little bit more at least. 69 fletching. Pretty good. That is rune bolts, rune crossbows, and U stocks for the crossbows. We would not even be able to be anywhere close to making that because of the smithing requirements for rune. Also, crossbows, besides the regular and I guess phoenix, don't exist, so not there. 77 woodcutting. That is nothing. 70 fletching. Milestone. Achievement. And very important level for us. That is 2 quest requirements. The blisterwood stake, blisterwood staff, blisterwood polearm, corpse thorn to arrow shafts, blisterwood sickles, blisterwood wand and orb, bolt blisterwood stake through a crossbow. So pretty much all the blisterwood things, once those exist. The U wood box for the woodcutting update. And what actually exists and is important, the U shield bow. AKA the U longbow. But close enough. And that means, while we're out here chopping U trees, getting U longs, instead of getting 67.5 fletching XP, we'll be getting 75 fletching XP. So that's just a straight up fletching XP boost, which is nice. And it's firmly good fletching XP now. Previously with the short bows it wasn't quite as good as other options, but the wood cutting was much better. But now it's at least competitive in the fletching XP department. And also, instead of selling for 120, they now sell for 192, which is even better, and the best fletching to money making track. So that is going to work very nicely. If things go according to plan, we're going to have a lot of time to do some fletching and make a lot of money, which is going to be great. There's going to be a time when the axe has to go away, though. I'm making the most of it. 78 wood cutting. That is nothing. We are getting a message from the first necromancer. That's a thing that's happening. And he's put some stuff in my bank. Wow, rude. Let's go stop that. It's a bit of a necromancy pre-release event, Easter egg kind of thing. Why do you strive so hard for such fragile, fleeting results? Mostly, I need the woodcutting levels, thanks. Here's an ectoplasmic residue. Amazing. Need level 20 necromancy to do anything with this, and we are no way even close to that. So we're just going to get rid of that. Can't be reclaimed? That's fine. Yeah. We are nowhere close to necromancy. Speaking of necromancy, there's also another event thingy that is finishing up here. 2023 situations we're in here. 89,000 of these last wills. So we can trade in all of them here with Posty Pete. And now we have all of these thingies. Amazing. So these give all sorts of random stuff. We're gonna get to that in a little bit here. But before we worry about that, we got 265,000 coins from fletching. Withdraw all those. New cash stack, 2,473,000. So from these, we can get some cosmetics, which are things we get to keep, and a whole bunch of tradable stuff, which we're going to drop on the ground. Unfortunately, we have to spam click all of them, so it's going to take a little bit. So we get fish and bones and ashes. Can't have any of those. Luckily, since we're an Ironman, we can't get some of the rewards, which take up even more space and aren't things I would care about or be able to use. So this is just going to be a good start here. We get things like carryable whatevers, capes and packages and things. Nothing particularly important. And rings that morph you into stuff. It's definitely an entire something. Destroy all the extra cosmetic things. All of these are reclaimable. Not that we would really want to. But it is an option, I suppose. We're also getting lots of ornaments, which is also nice. What would have been nice is the ability to use up any of these bones and stuff. But of course we don't actually get that. And there's multiple rarities of all these things. So that's great. And we got too many things. So these ones turn you into the Barrows brothers. That's fun. Just keep on destroying all these. Medium stuff from the medium level things. And also some tokens here for all sorts of stuff, like a crypt scythe that we don't need multiple of them since we can't do anything else with multiple of them. And with the number we have here, we're going to unlock quite a few of the cosmetics. So that's nice. I'll take it. A lot of this stuff would be fantastic to have. Like all that pure essence, all the food and bones and stuff. All conveniently noted, so we could unnote it if we wanted to. Would have been great. Would have been great. Oh, more things to destroy. We got more rings. Amazing. We got crypt shield bows. We already have the crypt scythe. I don't know if you can even... You can't really drop these, so I don't know if those are even transferable. And also, titles. The Life and Soul. Sure. Definitely going to stick with the Hardcore Ironman title. It's much better. And Crypt Staff token. Sure. Okay. And then the highest level ones here, which is whatever. Yeah. More rings, more parcels, more bags. We got rings that are the spookier version of the Barrows Brothers. Let's try that. Let's try that. Bone Master outfit token. Sure. And 2 more. Yeah, not a huge amount. Basically, we got a bunch of cosmetics, 2,400 oddments, and I mean, I guess this is enough stuff that'd probably be worth just dropping over. Let's have to drain our bank, I guess. That'll be fine. Total value of all the things on the ground. Price checking, 4 mil. Whatever. There was the possibility of getting a much more expensive thing in there, but with the amount that we did, it was incredibly unlikely. But we're not going to worry about that. We didn't get any actual benefits from that. And it's good to transfer all that, I suppose. 4 mil is 4 mil. It's not a lot. Anyways, now we can actually get back to 2004. Over in Ardoin, because why not? Let's go over some updates. On March 30th, 2004, the ability to move your items back to RuneScape Classic is now available. You won't bring as many runes back because of the ease of access of runes. What with all the better rune shops and rune crafting being a thing. And it cannot be undone once you do. So, everyone's things were moved to RuneScape 2. Now you can choose to go back to RuneScape Classic. Only one time. On March 31st, 2004, now that the whole engine update is done here, they're moving back to regularly scheduled updates. And they got a list of future updates that they are working on / thinking about doing. It's still not a huge amount of time to make updates at this point. Even though we've moved away from Classic, it's still pretty simple. But can't be working on everything at the same time with the size of the team and all that. But they've got some interesting plans, like a Viking-style area, frozen lands, some Barrows crypts, frequent and regular quest releases, which is fantastic for us, enchantable rings, new rare armors and weapons, various cosmetics you can earn in-game by playing the game and not buy from a shop or anything. Go on a treasure hunt, summon some monsters for you, get pets, fight some lizardmen, there's gonna be some board games, play around houses, you could farm in your house, join a clan, randomly generated group dungeons. It says in the post that the next year will be very interesting. Now, some of these things are absolutely not going to be coming out in the next year, and some things that aren't even mentioned here will be coming out as well. Just a general idea of, we got a lot of ideas. It's gonna be great. On April 1st, 2004, got some chat improvements, like split private chat, where instead of having your messages to your friends and messages to people around you in the same list here, you could split it off into its own separate section. Keep everything separated like that. Make it easier to have conversations and all that. You can right-click people to choose if they want to add them to your friends list or ignore list. And you can click on trade requests in chat instead of having to hunt down the person in the game, which is definitely more convenient if you're in a massive trading area where there's dozens or hundreds of people spamming messages trying to trade. Also fixed a few bugs, including walking through some walls, agility obstacles doing way too much damage on fail, and over in the duel arena, we have some bugs, which is wildly going to be a problem in the future, constantly. If you had your inventory completely full at the end of the duel, you would drop the money that you staked inside the arena, and you couldn't get it back. So, that's not helpful to trying to do a stake there. Future problems will be all over the place there. My goodness. And for membership options, US gets pay by phone. Tons and tons of membership payment options available. Really is still a wild west of the early internet here. Also, people have been messaging and posting on the forums regretting their choices of moving their things back to RuneScape Classic and now want them back. But they said it's a one-time thing, but maybe they will work on getting a system together so you can bring yourself back to RuneScape 2 again. Because, especially with all the main focus going into RuneScape 2 instead, it's definitely the main game going forwards. On April 6th, 2004, the Tanglevine random event came out. An interesting situation here. If you move around while the vine is active, it hurts you. So try not to die or anything. Not a good time. There's also other random events added with RuneScape 2. Generally just an attempt at an anti-botting mechanic. Random things that either attack you or teleport you away to do something to try to get people to not be botting. All of these will all be removed in 2012, so we won't be seeing any of those. Some of the rewards would have been interesting, but those will all be available in various shops and stuff later, so not a huge loss not having to do any random events. On April 14th, 2004, the ability to move your stuff back again to RuneScape 2 was added. And you get one last chance here to decide what game you want your items to stay on. So you can still move them back to Classic. You can move them from Classic back to RuneScape 2. Presumably there is a buy account feature where you can't just constantly swap them back and forth. That'd be unnecessary. But figure out what you want to do. It's going to work out fine. On April 15th, 2004, the Underground Pass was made available. Again. This was the last bit of content that needed to be converted from RuneScape Classic. So now you can go into the Underground Pass, have a great time, always a good time, and get access to the Ironman staff, which is still very limited charges. That's okay. And the combat camp and all that. Yeah. So now everything is in RuneScape 2. So now they can really be working on new stuff. Also, got a hide public chat option so you wouldn't have it spamming in your chat box here. And they're also doing some upgrading for some of the database servers. There's going to be temporary outages of the site in game while they're working with that. Should only be down for short times though. That's okay. On April 20th, 2004, we get one of the first things from that big list of potential future updates. We get enchanted rings. From Sapphire to Dragonstone. All sorts of cool stuff. Sapphire becomes the Ring of Recoil, which does recoil damage when enemies hit you. Going to make some use of that in the future. I'm not sure exactly how well of effect, but we will see. Emerald becomes the Ring of Dueling, teleporting you over to the duel arena. Also gets you pretty close to Alcarid, if you don't already have a Glory, which is even closer. Ruby becomes the Ring of Forging, allowing you to smelt iron 100% of the time. Because normally, you only get 50% of the iron ore turning into iron bars. That is not a thing with the mining and smithing rework, so we managed to not worry about that. The Dragonstone ring becomes the Ring of Wealth, increasing your access to the rare drop table a little bit. But most importantly for us, the Diamond Ring, which we have been carrying around this entire time since we made it quite a while back, because we knew this day would come, becomes the Ring of Life. And so, we need to make a Ring of Life. On a hardcore count, life is a very important idea. When you have the Ring of Life on, and you take damage that brings you below 10% of your health, so in our case, if we get down to 74 life points, you will be teleported away, back to safety, to your spawn location, which at this point is only Lumbridge. That's okay. Safer there than wherever you might be getting hurt by things. I don't think it cures poison, though, so that's still something you need to worry about. But either way, to do this, you use the enchant spells, which already existed for amulets. So, we need to do a level 4 enchant. 10 earth runes, and a cosmic rune. I trade Lumdale here. See the improved rune stocks here. Potentially the only store that sells cosmic runes for quite a long time. Potentially changed because you have to come out here to the wilderness and the risk and reward factor and all that. So here we got like nature runes, law runes, cosmic runes, and all the regular runes we've come to know and love. Basically, there's 2 higher level rune shops here. One out here in the wilderness, and the other in the Mages Guild. This one sells cosmic runes. That one sells soul runes. Oh, it all works out. I'm gonna grab a few more earth runes here. So with this, and level 4 enchant, the Ring of Life. Wear that. So now, we have a small little safety net here. Can't really rely on the Ring of Life all the time. Anything that can hit higher than 1/10 of your health is still potentially deadly. But overall, much safer than you were before. And how we came into the wilderness here, there is a warning on entering the wilderness. So you're not caught unaware, either teleporting in or crossing the border north of the free-to-play area. So, not accidentally running into the wilderness. Pretty good idea. And also, to do with fletching, which we've been doing quite a bit of. Unfortunately, not the portion that we're playing with. The stringing experience for adding a bowstring to an unstrung bow was increased back to what it was in Classic. For whatever reason, the XP had been slightly shifted around or something. So, now it's how it was before. On April 22nd, 2004, quick reminder that the item transfer page is going to be going down tomorrow, and you will no longer be able to move your items between games. So we will finally get the two games completely separated, separate economies, separate everything, and it will continue as they were. And also, those database upgrades from earlier are complete, so everything should be going just fine. On April 23rd, 2004, Godblooders 19 featuring Gothics. More interesting stuff. Pretty much all the lore for the Godblooders is probably irrelevant at this point. Just an interesting look at the past and how they were considering the gods and all that. It's interesting stuff. On May 5th, 2004, bank space was increased. 12 more for free-to-play, 48 more for members. So that's nice. As we're going to be getting more and more items, it's be convenient to have more and more space in your bank. A luxury that we do not have. There's going to be nice things for us in the future on that front, though. We just have to make it there first. And we're working on it. Some items that spawn on the ground had their respawn rates increased, like snapegrass, whiteberries, and jengerberries. Basically a bunch of stuff for herblore, so you could more easily just go pick the stuff off the ground, because that's where it's from. That's alright. And most interestingly, treasure trails. Easy, medium, and hard clue scrolls now drop from various monsters around the game. You get the scroll, you follow the clue, potentially have to do some kind of puzzle or challenge or something, and get rewards. These have been changed quite a lot over the years, adding new steps, adding new requirements, adding new rewards entirely, removing rewards and replacing them with other things, with stuff like the mining and smithing rework. But at the start here, some of the coolest and best things you could get were trimmed and gold trimmed black, adamant, and rune armor, Saradomin, Gothics, and Zamorak trimmed rune armor, the Robin Hood hat, and ranger boots, and wizard boots. So, bunch of cool stuff. Don't think we're really going to be doing many clue scrolls for quite some time. Realistically, most of the rewards that even still exist that would be relevant aren't too useful. But once we get to a certain point, clue scrolls are going to be pretty cool. Always a fun time. It especially help to be able to get around easier and have all the quality of life things that clue scrolls eventually get before we worry about that. On May 10th, 2004, got some duel arena changes. For the archers among you, you'll be firing your arrows through the duel. They'd be dropping on the floor. And at the end of the duel, you now get all the arrows back, which is nice. So it just scoops up all the arrows and gives them back to you instead of you just losing all your arrows. Very convenient. And also a few new options for duels, like flowers only. That's a fun weapon. And also no jewelry. Many options are available. And also added was more fire giants underneath the waterfall in that dungeon. They desperately need some more fire giants in that dungeon after we killed 5,000 of them. My goodness. On May 14th, 2004, the Toronto server had suffered a hardware failure, so it might take a few days to get that fixed, especially if they need to get it shipped back and replaced with something else. But for the meantime, play on other servers that aren't absolutely not working anymore. And now, on May 18th, 2004, we get our next quest. Big, chompy bird hunting. Starting our journey from south of Yanil here, right near the entrance to Gutanath, we need to head down into the Feldip Hills. We grabbed a chisel from a general store, because that's the only other item we needed, besides things that we can grab while we're in the area. This is still the only way to get down into Feldip Hills, since to the west doesn't exist yet. But there is a new bit of the Feldip Hills over here on the eastern side. So we go see Rance. He's got a big bow, and we're going to be getting used to that. For big jumpy bird hunting, we needed 5 fletching, 30 ranged, 30 cooking, a bunch of feathers, and then a knife, a chisel, an axe, some wolf bones, which we can get in the area, and a handful of ingredients, which we can also just pick up. We need to fight some chumpy birds and wolves, so that'll be just fine. Here we are with Rance. Hey you creature, make me some stabbers. I want to hunt the chompy. What are stabbers? For the stabby chucker. Eyes wanna hunt the chompy. Creature knows what Rance wants. Fly into stabby the chompy. Jagex shows you a huge but crude bow, then starts to nod energetically in an effort to help you understand. I think I understand. You want me to make you some arrows? Yeah, is what Rance said. Make the stabbers for the stabby chucker. Except big chompy bird hunting. Okay, I'll make you some stabbers. Good, you creature. You need sticksies from the Aki tree and stabbies from dog bones. And by that he means the Aki tree is right here, which we can chop with our rune hatchet. Delightful times. I'm just going to chop a good number of these. Get a decent amount. And then we have wolves nearby. These are level 42. Should be manageable. The rune hatchet is not the best weapon, but we can do okay. We're going to attack a wolf here. Yeah, they don't got too much health. Manageable. Manageable. I'm really interested to see if we can just ride the rune hatchet for quite a few quests here. It's functional enough, but more difficult boss fights we would definitely want to go and get the dragon mace. But we're not worrying about that quite yet. Grab some wolf bones, and we're gonna make some arrows. Ogre arrow shafts. Let's make a few. Just gonna get some. Use the feathers on the arrow shafts. This uses lots of feathers per arrow shaft. So it's a very large arrow. Flighted arrows there. Then take the bones, make some arrowheads out of the bones. Use those on the arrows, and we get ogre arrows. They're not exactly amazing by any means, but they'll get the job done. And they're what Rance wants, so here we are. Hey you creature, have you made me the stabbers? I want to stick to Chompy. Well, yes actually. As you ask so nicely, here you go. Here's your stabbers. Rance takes 6 ogre arrows off you. Ah, the creature has them goodly. Now us can stick to Chompy bird. But the Chompy not coming without the fatsy toadies. Gotta get the fatsy toadies to get the Chompies. Then we put it over there and sneaky stick to Chompy. How do we make the Chompies come? Chompies love the fatsy toadies. Toadies get big on their swamp gas, and their Chompies are licking their lips for 'em as me is licking lips for the Chompy. The Chompies don't like the smaller toadies from nearby swamp. Taste fussy eaters, just like Rance. Feisty and Bugs play with toadies and blower. They's all times making fatsy toadies. What are fatsy toadies? Fatsy toadies are the Chompy bird's bestest yums. But the toadies here are too small for the Chompy. You gotta get the toadies big and round. And where do we put the fatsy toadies? Over there! The ogre points to a small clearing to the south. Okay, creature, you got that? Over there, by there no trees place. And what do you mean, sneaky, stick to Chompy? Duh, you creature is a bit stupid, yes? Us needs to sneaky, and stick to Chompy. Then we can eat the Chompy. Okay, thanks. So, we need to get fatsy toadies to sneaky, stick to Chompy. Starting by getting the blower from Feisty and Bugs in here. Hello, Bugs. Rance said you play with the fatsy toadies. What are they? We sometimes use the blower on the toadies, but Dad don't let us get in the locked box no more. It was good fun making the toadies stat on the swamp gas. So they've got it in a locked chest. Locked ogre chest. A rock for a lock. I mean, if it stops you from getting into the chest, I guess. There's a giant rock on top. We're going to unlock it. That's what an ogre would call a locked chest. Search the chest and find a pair of ogre bellows. Perfect. And now we gotta go play with the swamp gas. Okay. Manageable. Swamp gas is gonna be in a swamp. That's not too surprising. Here's a swamp. It's all nearby. It's a very local ecosystem here. Fill bellows with swamp gas. Yeah, 3. And then bloat the swamp toads. Let's blow them up, have them in our inventory. An inflated toad. Wild stuff. Wild stuff. Just gonna grab 3 of them here. There we go. We got the fatsy toadies. And we want to bring them over here to the no trees place. Right around here. If we drop the toadies Sure, Rance told you. You're not sure where Rance told you to place the bloated toad. Decided to wait and ask him where to place it. I guess he just kinda said. Now that we actually have it, he'll actually tell us what we need. Hey, you creature, you still here? The Chompy's still not coming. We need the Fancy Toadies to get to Chompy. Do you get it? Do you got it? Do you got the Fancy Toady? Then we can sneaky stick to Chompy. Yes, I have a Fancy Toady for you. Here, look. You show the bloated toad to Rance. He nods with approval. That's a good Fancy Toady. Now we need to put it for the Chompy to come. Where should I put the Fancy Toadies? Over there, creature. Put the Toadies over there. Ogre points to a clearing to the south. Perfect. In the no trees place, like he said earlier. Just had to confirm we had the correct toads. There we go. And just gonna place all these. Looking good. And talk to Rance. There you go. I've placed the bait. Goods. Now me waits for the Chompy. Shouldn't be long now. Sneaky. Yes, I know. Stick to Chompy. Hey, you creature. Is the Fancy Toady still there? Go get more Fancy Toadies if they all gone. What? I have to get more bait? There's none there? Does this Chompy bird even exist, I wonder? There it is. Rance. Here's the Chompy. He's gonna get it. These arrows are rubbish. Just missed his shot. Hey there, you keep missing the Chompy bird. I knows I keep missing, because your stabbers are worse at flying than a dead dog. Come on, let me have a go. No, it's Rancy's stabby thrower. You too weedy. I'm actually quite strong. Please let me try. Oh, okay. I lend you other stabby thrower. A creature don't better cry when it hurts itself. Rance hands you over an ogre bow. It's huge. You can barely draw back the string. Wield ogre bow. Not as big as his, thankfully. That is quite the bow. Wield the ogre arrows. Take off the melee armor. Now we got to sneaky stick to Chompy. But the other Chompy's gone, so we need to go get more. And by get more, I mean more Fancy Toadies. Fill up the bellows. Fill up the Fancy Toadies. Here. Here. And luckily we were high enough level the wolves aren't aggressive. That's nice. The ogres are still aggressive though, so we will deal with that when we need to. There we go. Yeah, ogre bow. Very large. Let's get these Fancy Toadies put in place. Fancy Toady. And a few more for good measure. Not a guarantee to lure a Chompy down. No. Might as well give ourselves the best chance here. And now, we just kind of wait, hoping a bird falls from the sky. With our big old giant bow of good times. Look how delectable this is. Green-skinned, enormous. Potentially slightly disappointing for the Chompies if they come down here and get a big snack and it's just full of swamp gas. Chompy bird. Pew. He's dead. Pluck the Chompy bird. Pick up the Chompy. Shoot another Chompy. They don't have much health, do they? My goodness. Pluck the other Chompy bird. Take all its Chompy bits. Fantastic. We'll bury the bones, since we have them. And talk to Rance again. There you go. Hey you, got the Chompy yet? Yep, here's your Chompy bird. You shall Rance the freshly plucked Chompy carcass. That's a great Chompy. You must have got a lucky shot with the stabby chucker. Okays, Now yous need to cook the chompy. Snurp. Yous can cook it over there. Rance points to a nearby spit roast. But we's particular about our chompy yums. Me's want onion with mine. Feisty and Bugs also want with theirs as well. Go and ask them what they want. What? Now I've got to cook the chompy bird? You expect me to do that as well? Yep, the spit's over there. Last time Rance did yummies, got very bad. Did bad things to food and belly. He wants an onion. Okay. We can manage that. And what do Feisty and Bugs want? What would you like, since I'm apparently preparing you a meal? Dad says you's roasting the chompy for us. Me's want dougal leaves with mine. Yummy, can't wait to eat it. Oh, onion, dougal leaves, and Bugs. Dad says you making the chompy for us. Me's has to have equa leaves with mine. Chompy is our favorite yums. And equa leaves. A lot of leaves. Amazing. Other options include cabbage, tomato, and potato. Let's see if we can find these leaves. Should be nearby. That's a fern. That's a cabbage. Equa leaves. There we go. And onion and dougal leaves. Nearby too. It's just a wealth of stuff out here in the Feldip Hills. We'll put on our armor since we're gonna be running past the ogres and stuff. All naturally occurring ingredients, except for the tomato, which is just sitting on a stool here. Who left this tomato here? What's going on? Onion. Yoink. We got cabbages all over the place. A few more onions growing there. And dougal leaves. We got an onion seed. That doesn't exist. Rude. Pick another onion. This time, nope, onion seed again. Farming. There we go. An onion. Only ingredients when you're cooking the chompy bird. Sure you have the seasonings you want to use in your inventory when cooking the chompy bird, and you use them automatically when cooking. Perfect. Yeah, we got what we need. And the ogre's even aggressive? Maybe not. I think some of them were attacking. It's probably fine. There's an ogre chieftain here. I can mess with them. Let us cook the chompy. We have 86 cooking, so this should probably be fine. Raw chompy on the spit roast. It is a decent size. Carefully place the chompy bird on the spit roast, add the other ingredients, and cook the food. And eventually, the chompy is cooked. Use the onion, dougal leaf, and equa leaves with the chompy bird to make a seasoned chompy. Looks delicious. Deliciously seasoned to taste wonderful to ogres. Honestly, probably pretty solid, even for us. Hey creature, did you get to cooked chompy yet? I smell something coming and it makes me hungry. Hand over the chompy if you know what's good for you. Yes, here you go. Here's your cooked chompy bird. You hand over the cooked chompy bird to Rance. Hey, we got the delicious chompy bird, yay! It looks really tasty as well. Thanks very much for the chompy. Feisty and Bugs like very much the chompy yums. The family of ogres sit down together and enjoy your well-cooked chompy bird. It's my pleasure. Quest complete. We get some interesting experience here. 2 quest points, 262 fleshing XP, 1470 cooking XP, 735 range XP. The ogre bow, the ability to fletch ogre arrows, and the ability to cook chompy birds. and get Chompy hats. Possibly not yet. No, Chompy bird hats don't exist yet. That is a interesting situation for the future. Hunt more Chompies, and you get rewarded for it. But that's in July, so. And also not very worth doing, so not gonna worry about it. As you might have noticed there, we didn't need to put up a complicated quest comparison screen for how much we would have gotten with the RuneScape Classic Quest Experience Calculator. Because with RuneScape 2 here, quests now give regular amounts of experience. There's no more scaling based on your level. There are some rewards for certain things that require at least a certain level in order to use them on them. And if you're too low level, you can't use the lamps. But for the most part, we should be fine for that. Either way, we've now got the Ogre Bow here. And if we wanted to get one back, we could probably talk to Rance, but I don't think that's going to be super necessary. As far as a ranged weapon is concerned, it's not very good. We're just going to not worry about that. We also don't need any more Chompy stuff. Got a raw Chompy here. Let's cook it, because why not? See if we can just do this unseasoned. Yeah, there you go. 140 cooking XP. Why not? And we also can enjoy our cooked Chompy. Fantastic. Alright. There we go. And now, that is all that done. Amusingly, even though it is called Big Chompy Bird Hunting, it predates the Hunter skill, so there's no hunting experience for anything. Even when you go and hunt more Chompy birds, or get the eventual rewards from Rance for doing more Chompy hunting, it's all ranged XP instead of Hunter, which is amusing. Either way, we're not too worried about that. What we're worried about is continuing on more stuff in 2004. Next time. Goodbye.